Hey, what's up, everyone? Today we're hanging out with Michael Soyza.
Hello.
Right, yeah. So, Mike, maybe you just bring us along on a journey to like your backstory, back to oh man, I know you since like football days, man. That's like
Football days, man. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I forgot that we used to play football a lot together.
yeah,
A lot, like really a lot. Way before we used to play poker a lot together.
yeah.
Yeah, true, true. That was 2008, pretty
2009, I
much.
think.
2008 for sure. We began
2008,
in
right,
when I was in
right.
college. Yeah, we used to play football. Yeah, so that's what we did back then. I guess we were football players, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we used to play football together. We were in college, uni together, pretty much. Different uni, but similar area, lah, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Among similar area. Then, yeah, basically, I studied, ended up playing poker as a hobby a lot. I
Okay,
did okay, yeah. And then after I graduated, I took 1 year to travel and play. Uh, the circuit, lah, kind of the circuit, lah, and see how it was like and see how much money I can make or win along those lines. And at that point, I remember my goal was like, if I win $1 million, right, I'm
right.
probably not going to go work. You know what I mean? But because the plan was for me to join an investment bank or something along those lines in the finance world. That
Yeah,
was my goal. Because at the time I didn't have much money. I had some money, but I wouldn't say it was a large degree. And my goal was to build a capital base to invest and earn passive income, and that kind of thing. And like
right.
not have to work 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And that was my plan at the time, lah. Passive income,
Yeah,
hype word, whatever. And then, but to have passive income or investments, you need money, right? So got not much money, what? So now I need to go and find the best way to make as much money as I can, as fast as I can, lah.
mm,
So then, investment banking, everybody says that, right? When I was a kid or whatever, my dad and my parents or my, people say investment bankers make a lot of money, blah blah. Okay, fine, investment banking, lah. Let's go, you know. Then, so studied economics and finance, graduated with shit results because I was playing too much poker because it's too fun, right? And I was doing pretty good also, so okay, can't complain. And then took 1 year off, traveled, did not win $1 million, had a good time, flying around and playing all the events and stuff, and it was fun. And then I applied for one job and I got the job. It was a CIMB Complete Banker program. I think it was like probably, in my opinion, one of the harder jobs to get in Malaysia or in KL or wherever it is. It's quite intense. It's like 4 rounds of interview or whatever it is. I don't know.
okay.
And then there's this whole like hardcore classroom training thing for like a few months, which was very intense. And I remember on the first day actually, because I was doing pretty okay in poker, and it was
Yeah,
fun also. And then I go from that to like getting paid 3K a month in this job, in this
right.
bank, right? And on the first day, we go into the classroom and they're like grilling you, and like putting all this pressure on you, and they're giving you tests, and I'm like, man, this is not fun at all. What the hell am I doing here now? I don't have to do this shit. Like it's like kind of kind of suffering lah to a certain extent lah. On the
Yeah,
first day
yeah,
of the actual training. Then after that, I like decided like fuck it lah, like I made a plan, right? The plan was to go and test poker out, then after that I'm gonna test the real world to see how much money I can make in the in the proper job, the traditional path, to see what it's
okay,
like.
right.
I had friends who you also know, who also play poker for fun,
Yeah,
who were already in CMB as my senior, a few years my senior, and they're all doing very well. And that was a good trajectory. Like it looked like it's worth a shot.
mm,
So basically stop playing so much poker, focus on this job. Uh wasn't easy because I was a lazy shit in uni, so I didn't study. So basically,
right.
I had to study everything again during this
Okay,
few months of training, because like again, finance is not exactly easy lah. Especially like if the department I wanted to go into was trading, right? Like equities trading or
okay,
whatever it is, derivatives trading, and that is like quite a technical role to become a trader. You need to know like a lot of concepts and actual math skills lah. You need to actually know, do some math
right.
lah. And
Okay,
understand how things work lah. And all these things actually I kind of learned in uni, but just that I didn't understand what it was or what it was used for in the real world. And
okay,
that's also something I feel is quite interesting, because there's kind of like a disconnect or a detachment from theory to a practical application. So in uni, all these things you learn in the textbook, all these things are just like abstract. I have no idea what does it mean, what how is it used, but until when I started actually doing it as part of a job, right, on a day-to-day, or learning more about it, that is a point whereby you could see the connections between what you learn and what you how it works in the real world, like, let's put it this way.
so in uni, there weren't any practical scenarios where you actually like could put it into effect, and actually see play out.
maybe they did some case studies lah, but case studies are never the same as you actually sitting there and actually having to come up with a solution yourself in
Yeah.
a practical setting, that kind of thing. So yes, you learn the case study and how it's supposed to work and blah blah blah. But at that point, it just comes in, you memorize it, or for me anyway, I memorize it, then I just spit it out and that's it. No, I don't really understand the fundamentals or how things actually link together, holistically. But
Right. Right.
when you start working, then it starts to become clearer, lah. So basically, I had to relearn all my uni subjects, again, financial management, all this kind of bullshit, lah. And then and the thing is, like, because this program was quite, um I don't know if elite is too strong a word, but it was like a lot of smart people were in the program, lah. Let's put it this way, like all the
Okay.
results, are very good. All of them got masters, and their
Hmm.
CGPA is like 3.5 above or whatever. I don't know, lah. Mine is like 2.4. I barely passed, lah. Let's put it this way, lah. But somehow I got in.
Okay, so
Somehow,
very academic guys are there, lah, right?
yeah, they're all like, on paper, all like top notch, lah, and
Uh,
and they're all very qualified, lah. Let's put it this way, lah.
okay.
On paper, mine not so good, lah. But somehow I don't know. I got through, lah. Maybe because I speak quite well, or because my essay was quite good in my resume. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, at that point, the gist of it, when they asked me what motivates me, I just said, money, man, pay me more, and I'll work as hard as I can, and I'm
Yeah.
willing to learn and blah blah, and maybe that's what that's kind of the characteristics you look for when you go into treasury or investment banking. Like, you want hungry people, because
Yeah.
hungry people will give you everything, lah, for return, lah. Let's put it this way, lah.
Hmm.
And I was like that, pretty much. And so I studied all that shit in university, which I didn't know, and actually was like the top performer for my batch. And I was
Right.
actually sent for like regional rotation in Singapore and all that shit during that
Hmm.
time, lah. Because I was like focused on it, like, okay, I'm gonna do this shit. I have a plan, I got a I want to get into this department equity derivatives group, I want to trade some equities or derivatives, and I
Yeah.
gotta fucking do it, So like, even though it sucks, and I had to fucking study and do all this shit that I don't like, right? And then I just had to do it, like, part of the plan, right? Make the plan, execute. So all that was great. Started working. Very interesting, very, very interesting. Learn a lot about the world and how things work, and it was a very, very good experience. It's worth more than money, lah. It was very beneficial. I would never like go back and do things differently if I could think of it this way at this
Right.
point, and because there's opportunity cost to everything, right?
Hmm.
By making the decision to go in and work in a bank as compared to just continue playing poker, which is fun and I couldn't make a lot of money. I would never learn other skill sets, or develop a holistic view of the world and how things work, and how to interact with people, colleagues, how is it in like a corporate company, all the bureaucratic bullshit and stuff, which is basically shaped my view of the world, and what I like and don't like, you see. So
Yeah.
my opinion, I mean, my view at the time was that I need to try it to know what it's like before I can make an informed decision whether what I want to do, keep playing poker for fun, or work in a
Okay.
bank, or where does my passion lie, or what do I like, how do I like to work, all that kind of stuff has to be tested. You need to falsify your assumptions, and
Yeah.
test and see whether it's true, basically.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. So anyway, continue working, work my ass off, 110%, grind it out, done everything, and then I could start to assess my trajectory, lah. So I was there for like almost 3 years, lah, basically, lah.
Okay.
And then people were betting. All our friends were betting and saying, hey, you won't last 6 months, lah. You won't last 3 months, lah. In this job, like that kind of shit, But there wasn't the plan. What the plan is to go and whack, lah. So whack the job,
Yeah.
lah. Okay, go and see how is it gonna be, So I would say they compensated me quite well for Malaysian standards,
Okay.
but it's fuck all in international standards, lah.
Okay. And you were giving 110% at the time.
110%, lah. Let's say, and my results were. It's not like I
It
tried very hard.
reflected in your results, lah.
Yeah, the results reflected my input and everything, and
Okay.
I don't think they could have asked any more from me, lah. Let's put it this way, lah. I went above
Okay.
and beyond, and like I did my part, lah. Let's put it, and more also, in fact, And
Yeah.
after all that, the results, in my opinion, were just mediocre, lah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but okay, so this is also about perspective, and it's all relative, you see.
Yeah.
So if I told you I got a 12-month bonus, what would you say to that?
I would say that's amazing, but given that line of work, you may have earned them 200x that 12-month bonus,
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
So like 12 months bonus in a Malaysian working environment sounds sick, lah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like everything you would have heard about investment banking law. But the fact is that first of all, you're right. We made much more money for the bank as compared
Right.
to what we compensated. Number one. Number two, if you convert that into something like US dollars or Singapore dollars or pounds, something, right? Suddenly you realize it's fuck all,
Yeah.
You get me? And then the basic pay also is still quite low, and stuff like that. And this is like supposedly one of the best jobs or better jobs you can get as a graduate.
Prestigious, steady and
Yeah,
like strong bank. Yeah.
correct.
Mm.
Then I could kind of assess what the trajectory would be like, like after 3 years there, I can see how much I'm getting paid, and then like in 5 years time, where would I be, and like how much is it possible for them to pay me, and then
Yeah.
the stuff like this, like like, oh, boss will say like I want to promote you, and stuff like that, but the management says that this year only can promote two people from the department, this guy has been here for 4 years already, he never promoted yet. If I don't promote him, he will
Yeah.
leave. Then this guy is also 3 years already, waiting for promotion, so I have to promote them. And that's fair. I don't think that is wrong. Everybody has to do what they have to do, right? And I have
Mm.
a choice to make my own decision also, ma.
Yeah.
I mean, you do what you gotta do, and I'll do what I gotta do, lah. So what I gotta do is sayonara, lah, goodbye, lah. This is not working out for the long run, lah, because
Mm.
uh in the long run the trajectory is just not there. In this industry. Also, it was like kind of the decline of the banking industry as compared to like 5 to 7 years before when my seniors were in. They were getting like I was getting 12 months bonus. They were getting like 3 years bonus. 36 months bonus. That kind of shit.
And this was no longer something that was happening. It's not something that you can probably get in like maybe 4 years time or something like that.
I'm not sure, to be honest, but it didn't look like it was going that way like at this point in time. Like everything's bigger, markets are more competitive. It's harder to make money.
Right.
Like it's just a more difficult and competitive environment. Like so it just didn't seem likely that it will go in that direction. Especially when the bank gets bigger, right? There's more there are more departments and more divisions, and some divisions make a loss, some divisions make a profit, and then you have to cover the losses from other divisions and all that stuff. It has to balance out,
Right.
overall. So I don't know, like it just seems like it wasn't going to go back to that kind of degree of abundance. Let's put it this way,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So even the increments also have dropped drastically. If I speak to my seniors, and like how much increments, the percentage base that they were getting year on year, right, is way different. Like is worlds apart, like, pretty much at that point, like. And we're only talking about like 5 years difference or 7 years difference. Not, it's not even that long. So it didn't look good for the future, like. Let's put it this way, like. Um,
What I
then
mean, like the banks, aren't they concerned about like their top crushers and stuff, or is it that they don't have much options? Like the crushers don't have many other places to go.
You're right, because what I realized or what I observed, lah, okay,
Uh,
there seems to be. I mean, this is just my opinion now. Okay, it's not the truth or anything. I have no
yeah.
fucking clue.
Okay.
I'm not
All right.
informed. Do your own research, right? But just what I see on what's happening, right? It becomes like this cycle. So you work, you graduate, you get a good job, you start working, right? And you do what you're supposed to do. You start earning money, right? And then in the beginning, you don't have much money, blah blah blah. It's fine, whatever. You're happy living your life, going to work because that's what you gotta do, right? And that's all you know. Then you start to make more money. As you start to make more money, you start to spend more because you got more money, ma. You buy
Yes.
a new house, you buy a new
Right.
car, you eat better food, you dress better, buy new shit, and then as you make more money, you kind of get stuck in this loop whereby you can't do anything else, as up to a point whereby there's like a tipping point, or a point of no return. Basically, your quality of life, and your I wouldn't say addiction, but your level of
Expectations.
expectation or your level of comfort has increased so high, that you need to maintain a certain level of income to
Yeah.
maintain that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And once you become like senior, maybe you work like 10 years in a particular line or industry or company, right? It's very difficult to transition out of it, and pivot to something totally different, to maintain this level of income, in the short
Mm.
run, especially if you over leverage yourself and you take on a lot of debt, right? And you
Right.
have a house loan, you have a car loan, you have children going to school and blah blah blah, right? You're kind of stuck in this profession already because it's paying you well, and you have to support your lifestyle and your family, right? So you don't have a choice but to stay on, and of course you make good money, right? But it's too late for you to take other risks to potentially make more money, or have a happier life. Even if you forget money, if you save time, right, to free up your time and stuff, right, it might be too late for you to pivot at that point. And
Yeah.
another thing that also, like, wasn't an eye opener, but what I realized and what I knew that I wouldn't be able to sustain in the long run is the freedom, and the time. Because, like, if you want to go for holiday, I like snowboarding, right? I want to go for trips and stuff, and you only get X amount of days per year. Okay, and you have to ask your boss, and you have to speak to teammates, and to make sure that you can get approval per se, to go on leave during that time. And
Right.
sometimes it's difficult because, like, if your trips are far off, down the line, you need to book it early, to get the slot and the cheaper and all that stuff. And then, you just say, for example, that is a busy period, or like it's unknown, then you cannot take your leave. Then you're like, this is a bit bullshit, lah, right? You slog your ass off, and in the end you can't even live your life, like you have to ask for permission to do things you want to do, then what the fuck is that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
better not, but once again it comes comes is how to say, willing buyer, willing seller, there are of
Mm.
course good points lah, you earn money lah and all that shit lah, you want freedom, can, but you don't earn money, then you have to find another way to earn money lah. So but I realized in the long run that this is not going to work for me lah. I don't want to have to ask people for permission to do things I want to do and how I want to spend my time and stuff like this lah. So I knew that this was not going to work out, and the
Okay,
compensation in terms of money is not
right.
enough to make it worth my sacrifice.
Okay, I just want to ask you a question,
Yeah.
right? So at that point when you said like, fuck this, it's not for me. But
Mm.
given that, your perspectives and how it's been formed by like, how society reacts to all this kind, or how it judges like all this kind of stuff, right? That that knowledge that you're about to throw away a very coveted job to go do something by yourself, it's not just a simple job, it's not just a clerical job, but it's a coveted job, right? In a good company. Was there any fear? Was there any doubt?
Doubt, well, of course there's a bit of doubt lah, but because you see,
Hmm.
I go like through a process of testing,
Yeah,
so I already got track record before working, you see,
right.
playing poker lah. Cause, and I'm lucky that I have a skill set that somehow is rewarded economically lah, even though it's not the most respectable, or I don't contribute to society, what the fuck you want to say lah, but it's still I can win money, or it somehow, like, hobby makes me money to some extent, right? And
Yeah,
I've already kind of proven to myself that I can do it, and it can be done, and I've already a real set of data that I can use to make good decisions, So
yeah.
that is one benefit and one advantage that I have. That's why I was able to make this jump, and I had
Mm.
the confidence also. And of course, like, personally, as a person, I'm quite committed once I commit to something lah, and I really do my best to follow through, and I'm willing to, like, put in all my efforts. And even like through my school life and everything, right? I've Whenever I wanted to do something well, I was able to do it well. And so I
Okay.
had confidence in myself to be able to execute whatever I plan to do
Mm.
and give it my best shot lah, and that's all I can do lah. And I'm quite sure that just looking at people's standards and the way other people do things, right? I can do things with more, how to say, determination and with more commitment lah. So I hopefully can achieve better than average results lah. And I have
Right.
done it lah. Like, all my track records all like that lah. My school results, my uni results, my test results, everything have been like this whenever I put in some effort lah.
Mm.
So that is one thing, right? And secondly, when once I started to form this opinion or this view already, right? Then I start to plan, what's the plan
Mm.
going to be, I'm still working, I'm still doing my job and everything, but I'm like, looking towards the future and seeing what is the best way or the most GTO way to pivot
Okay.
from what I'm doing into the next step, or what makes the most sense to try next, lah.
Okay.
And then, fortunately, I won those fucking tournaments in Australia during that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That time when you just went bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, so basically, I won one Aussie Millions ring, right, for like, I don't know, like 120K US or Aussie or something like that. I don't know. And then I was still working. I didn't quit my job, whatever. I kept
Okay.
working, and I was just still thinking, okay, how, yeah, it's cool, got some money, whatever, how to invest it, blah blah blah, passive income, whatever. Then keep working to see one more year to see how is it gonna be for next round. Because you must give it some time, right? You just graduated, you just joined the team, first year, okay, never mind. Second year, then you're already embedded in the team already, you're like
Yeah.
already in there and you're already doing shit already, and then you can get a better assessment on what how the competition is gonna be and everything, So then second year, won the same tournament again.
The accumulator twice. I remember.
Yeah, twice,
Yeah.
twice. Yeah, so same tournament again, right? So then, at this point, before I even won the tournament, I was already like quite set. I'm going to quit if the bonus is not exemplary or anything like this, lah.
Okay.
For
Right.
that year, lah. So just so happened, I think because it's in January, right? Aussie Millions bonus comes out usually in March. Okay, so already planned this year. If the bonus sucks and everything doesn't look good, quit, go
Okay.
and play. Because I was thinking, like, if I just fucking play $1, $2 US dollar, I'll make more money than I'm making now. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be able to win more money. And then also, during my university life, I won more money from my hobby than my entire working career.
Right. Okay.
And
Okay.
this is like one of the, and I was fucking 20-year-old kid or whatever it is, 19 years old or whatever it is, at that point, and I won more money from my hobby than I had accumulated over the course of almost 3 years of working. So then you already know that something is a bit off here, lah. The equation is a bit imbalanced, So now
Yeah.
you say, now one more chance, we see in March, how is it gonna go, So then, of course, the same shit, lah. It was not bad, but it wasn't great, blah blah blah. So okay, lah, follow the plan, lah. Then just try new things, lah. So then, yeah, quit and then got some bankroll because I won some tournaments, go and
Mm.
play. Yeah, and then that started playing poker lah for fun lah, traveling everything, and then see how it goes lah, and it's gone pretty well lah. I would say, up to
Yeah,
this point, and
yeah.
then yeah, from that point, like the aim of making money was to supposedly build a capital base to invest and transition
Okay.
into something else later down the line, and that's where I am right now. I guess like trying new things, especially the whole COVID thing has been a Kickstarter, Jumpstarter, something
Yeah,
to
like
fill in the time
let
lah,
us know more a bit about like COVID and how it impacted you, because I know a lot of people have felt like the impacts of COVID. But I mean, for in your case, not just like from multi aspects, like being able to travel so often and then suddenly being stuck here. Um, how did it affect you?
I feel very bad saying it lah because I know that it's been a disaster for the world lah. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
But to me, it was very good lah for me. Yeah,
Okay.
because basically it let me reset my life.
It
Because
brought
for
your
the past,
attention to other aspects that you were probably too preoccupied to deal with before that.
that's one thing, and also the ability to stay in one place for extended period of time. You see, because before this, I was basically traveling every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I only spend like a very small amount of time in Malaysia. So like I don't have a set period to like, for example, exercise is something that I always put off also.
Okay.
So like because I'm constantly traveling, I'm constantly eating, always trying new food, new places. There's a lot of excuses. Let's put it this way, and it's a lot harder to commit to a schedule or a regime.
Yeah.
And once this whole COVID thing happened, I got no choice. I got no excuse. You get
Yeah.
me now? So once I lose the excuse, then I just have to do it, right?
Yeah.
That is one thing. So for health and fitness, it's been very good for me. I lost 20 kilos in a
Okay.
few months.
Awesome.
uh Now I maybe gain back like 2 kilos. I don't know, but it could be muscle, it could be
Right.
fat. I don't know, but
Right.
I've changed my exercise routine a little bit, so it might have impacted it a bit. But overall, it's been very good. Health is better. I have more time to focus on that. And then I was at that point of the beginning of COVID. I was a bit tired of traveling also.
Okay. Okay.
Because you
Yeah.
just travel so much. It's not as fun and easy as people think. Yeah, you get on a plane every week or every 2 weeks. It is very draining lah. And then constantly
Mm.
going back and forth. And then different time zones and everything. It just kind of messes your body up. It messes your lifestyle up to a certain extent. So
Mm.
that is good. I was kind of tired of traveling. And it's nice to be at home. And then I was a bit bored of poker also actually, and I was on it for a very long time, and it's basically non-stop. And even in the beginning also, it was kind of non-stop of COVID. And after a certain point, I felt like I was waiting to bust out from tournaments so I can go and play Counter Strike.
Oh
So
my
at that
goodness.
point, I was like, okay, this is not correct already, lah. It's time to take a break, lah. Because
Right.
it shouldn't be
Right.
playing freely this way. It's wasting money, lah. To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not playing badly or anything, but it's just that my heart is not in it. If my heart is
Mm.
not in it, what's the point of doing it? It's becoming borderline not fun anymore. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is that's what I wouldn't want, lah. So it's just like, okay, never mind. There's always a lot of more poker games to come in the future. Once MCO is lifted and this COVID thing expires, is back on the road, lah. So I'll use this time to educate myself, learn about other skills, more about investing, finance, cryptocurrency, whatever it is, all the things that I put on my to-do list that I
Yeah.
hadn't had time, or the convenience, lah. Convenience is the word I'll use, lah, because now it's convenient. I'm at home, stuck with nowhere to go. There's not much to distract me, lah. Let's put it this way, lah. And I can kind of drill down and focus to a certain extent, right? In between Counter Strike games, but um, there's basically more time to do this kind of stuff, lah. So then I kind of just focus my attention on that most of the whole lockdown period and stuff like this. And I feel that I feel that I've learned a lot and I've improved my knowledge in all these other fields that I'm interested in and never had the time to spend exploring. So that's good for me. And I feel like it's been very productive for me as a person in terms of growth and stuff. And the best part about working a real job, and understanding the value of money, is that you don't get blinded by the
Mm.
lifestyle, and you don't you can see things a bit more clearly, and then also like you have a certain kind of confidence to do other things, and like for example other businesses or other disciplines which are non poker related, for example, because you have
Right.
some knowledge and
Yep.
skill, which are
Yeah.
transferable in these fields, and basically you don't really feel like a one trick pony lah. And that's the
Yeah. Yeah. I
benefit.
get that. Yeah.
And I'm glad I did it lah. Like I'm not afraid. If I can't play poker anymore or poker games die, whatever it is, then fuck it. There's always other things to do, and I'm sure I could do it pretty well. So that's one thing that is good lah. of diversifying and not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. Um, what? Don't mind me asking, what nutrition plan did you try out when you lost that 20 kgs, or like what workouts did you do?
You see, this is a question. So, like my journey of fitness and health also is a very interesting one. So, not interesting lah. Okay, fuck, it's not interesting, but it's just as volatile as my life and career choices. Let's put it this way. So, in school, high school, I always used to be on the bigger side. Like maybe 90 over kilos
Right,
and 95 kilos are around there lah. Okay, I used to play a lot of sports and stuff, so you fluctuate a bit, but always within there like 85 to 95 kilos around that range lah. So after high school, went to university, started exercising
right.
and eating less. Right, I wouldn't say eating well, but eating less.
Hmm.
Uh, and I lost 25 kilos in 3 months or something like this.
Okay.
Right, and then started doing weights, all that stuff. Did this six pack program, got a six pack. From
Okay.
95 kilos, I got a six pack. Okay, so that's very drastic. I used to cook 6 meals a day. I used to come to football tournaments carrying my fucking Tupperware of chicken salad and lettuce,
Yeah.
and start. I used to wake up 1 hour earlier in the morning to cook my food for the day,
Hmm.
and that led to a six pack. Like, I exercise like 5 or 6 times a week, and it's like those fucking HIIT shit and all the suffering
Yeah.
one lah.
Yeah.
And that was that. Got a six pack, whatever. Eat nasi lemak. It's like fuck it. I don't need this six pack life. I need the nasi lemak. So then there's been a slow decline throughout my poker life also. Like, you can tell. I don't know, when we first met, I was probably very thin. Then after that, I was like gaining back my weight and stuff. So from 95 to like 70, 72 with decent muscle mass, back to like 80, 90, back to maybe March 2020 around 92.
Okay.
March 2020, 92, right? And then down to 73 in June 2020, something like
Right.
this.
Right.
And throughout this journey, I realized one thing: I don't like diets. I fucking hate exercise.
Okay.
Uh, and it's extremely volatile. So I tried a ketogenic diet, which
Right.
caused gout because I did it wrongly. I ate too much
Okay.
protein. Instead
Okay.
of getting the right 70-30 fat protein ratio, I did 70 protein, 30 fat ratio, So I fucked that
Okay.
up and I
Okay.
got gout after doing 1 month. Um, I realized that a few things are: first, I don't like dieting, I don't like exercise. Um, and ketogenic diet is not for me because I love carbs.
Oh, you love carbs. Okay.
I love carbs and I like beer and I like sugar and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
But one of the main changes that I made is not to drink sugar,
Okay.
right? So I don't drink any sugar. Generally, I drink tea, black coffee with milk, or
Yeah.
black coffee and water, pretty much soda water. Sometimes I do drink like Coke once in a while, but it's hardly lah. Uh, and just by cutting down drinking sugar, I think I reduced my sugar intake a lot, like a lot, because we don't realize like how much sugar we drink
In our drinks.
generally. Yeah,
Totally
so
agree.
Milo is fucking poison.
Yeah.
Teh tarik ice is fucking poison.
Yeah.
Fruit juice is fucking poison. Coke is like super poison. You know what I mean? All these are fucking poison lah, basically lah. You
Yeah.
simplify down to that lah. Okay, if you drink like 2 teaspoons of Coke, okay lah, you're fine lah. But you're drinking one fucking can, like it's just way too much lah. I don't know, 13 teaspoons or whatever it is. I don't know what it is right now lah. So just by stopping the sugary drinks, right, I think that really cut down a lot of my calorific intake and my sugar intake. And then in March, I just did intermittent fasting
Mm.
and even periodical fasting, like one meal a day,
Omar. Yeah.
or maybe like 24-hour fast, that kind of thing,
Right.
here and there lah. But mostly generally intermittent fasting lah, because of the schedule lah. It worked out well lah. And 2 meals per day, I eat what the fuck I want. I eat fried rice, I eat char kway teow, I eat everything,
Mm.
but don't overeat the portions. You know what I mean? Don't eat like 1.5 portions. Eat one portion, a normal portion, and just stick to that. And don't snack between much and stuff like that lah.
Okay.
So
And that
for
has
me,
been working out for you, like you respond quite well to that, lah.
that worked well, because I think the main issue with us, especially in Malaysia, is the type of food is fucking terrible. It's complete trash, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it tastes damn good lah, so fuck it lah.
There's so
So
much food fillers, dude, and food fillers are actually sugar.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct. So like you just look at processed, just like char kway teow, okay? The char kway teow, the kway teow is bought from some factory, don't know where,
Yeah.
or don't know what is inside the kway teow. Also, like don't even know it's like pure flour. It's probably not, like you say, it's fillers and this and that and the other, and the sauce, they put all sorts of sweet sauce and this shit and that shit, and it's oily, and
Yeah.
it's bad lah. It's really really bad for you lah. But I love it lah. So okay, we have to find a compromise lah. So don't eat so much, but eat what you want. and then less sugar. That's the main thing lah that I realized lah. So I responded quite well to that. Uh, the problem in Malaysia is that you always have too many meal times. You have breakfast, you have tea, you have lunch, you have tea, you have dinner, you have supper. 6 meals, which is way too much lah. Your body doesn't need. I sit on my freaking chair the whole day. I'm
Yeah.
not expending any fucking calories. My
Yeah.
brain may be burning a little bit, and then everything else just gets stored. So like I don't need this calorific intake. So that's one thing, we eat too much and we eat too often, and the quality of food is shit. And the second thing is exercise. My lifestyle is so sedentary. If I didn't force myself, I move from my chair to my bed, to my
Right.
chair to my bed, and that's it the whole day. Like for fucking 7 days a week. So like what is I'm just fucked. Um. So then I need to exercise, lor. So I hate exercise, right? So what can I do? Do the most intense and shortest one, lah.
What do you do?
Like interval training, lah. Generally,
Oh, okay. Mm.
so like 30. So all I did was, and somehow I have bad knees. I have a lot of injuries because I snowboard and stuff, right? I don't know. I broke my arm last year or 2 years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago into 4 pieces snowboarding, and my knees are all fucked up. My meniscus are both side minor tear, MCL minor tear. Shoulder fucked up, all from snowboarding lah, basically,
Yeah.
and also running on the road. High impact on my knee, so the cartilage is quite worn because I
Right.
have some called a plica, whatever it is. But long story short, running not good for your body. Uh, in the long run, you need to do low impact exercise, and you need to strengthen your heart by doing more cardio. If you are caring more about health than just aesthetics lah. Of course, muscle mass are not very important also. But then, if you just want to kind of counter, in my opinion, based on what I've researched and
Yeah.
seen, if you just want to stay relatively healthy, some bodyweight exercise with some HIIT, good enough.
So like
So I
calisthenics
just do it.
and like Tabata.
Yeah, calisthenics, yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And so what I did was 3 times a week, do some push-ups, do some pull-ups, and cycle for 30 minutes
Okay.
or
Cool.
watching a show or podcast or whatever it is. So that's
Mm.
what I did lah, 3 times a week lah. And then that worked lah. Lost 20 kilos, just like that lah. But the things I had done it before, so I already know what to expect and like what is required. And I refuse to believe that if other people don't do it, despite your body type, body conditions,
Yeah.
because of course everybody has different body composition and body type, and the way you burn your metabolism is different, and how you process food and everything is different, right?
Right.
So I refuse to believe that you won't see any results lah. That's what I would say if you were to do this kind of thing lah. For it might not be as effective, it might not be as much, but for sure something will happen to your body lah, and it will be positive lah. That's all I'm quite sure of. I'll bet on that lah.
Yeah.
And historically, my family has our genes are not so great when it comes to health department lah. All the diseases, everything also got lah. Diabetes lah, stroke lah, high blood pressure lah, cholesterol lah, gout lah. Metabolic rate low lah. All these things is hereditary. But then, what the fuck are you gonna do? You just gotta fucking play the hand you're dealt, right? Just exercise more lah, eat
Yeah.
less lah. No excuses. Yeah. So just get on with it. You already know what you have to do, then just do it lah. If you have something that you want to achieve or goal, right? So my goal was to get fit and healthy, because if I were to just backtrack a bit, right? So this movement, or this how to say plan lah came about because I was just thinking like, what am I afraid of in life? What's my worst fear? Kind of lah, and like what are the things that I don't want to happen? And one of my worst fears, to be honest, is actually getting sick and having to depend on people, and like becoming a burden to my family. And
Yeah.
that is for me very scary lah, because you become a liability, instead of an asset. And for me, I want to contribute and and help people and not become a problem. So
Yeah.
this is not even selfish per se. It will be selfish not to. That's what I'm trying to say. To not take care of yourself. Because then other people are gonna have to take care of you. You see. So
Yeah.
have to do it, lor. And then also like better do it earlier. Another friend of mine, like a famous poker player, he also says something like, you never know, in 50 years, technological advancements like come so far that you might just be able to prolong your lifespan for another 100 years, or preserve your condition of your body. So you better take care of your fucking body now, so that you can, like, if ever the opportunity comes, or things progress, you will be able to what do you call it? What's the word?
Prolong your life lah. But
Prolong your life lah, like preserve your body lah, and
yeah.
stuff. And then imagine if, like, right now somebody told you, right, I can freeze your body in your current condition as it is for as long as you want.
Right.
Then you're fucked lah. If you're fucking unhealthy with all the sickness and everything, you know what I mean? So you need to delay that as long as you can, that part of it, of course, when you get old, you don't have a choice, lah, but you never know what's going to happen, like things are advancing so fast, in medicine and everything, right? It's just
Right.
going to change very drastically in the next 30 years, perhaps, 30, 50 years. So that's something also that you people might want to think about, lah. I don't know, something that I think about, lah. I'm
Mm.
not saying I want to live forever, but it would be nice to have a choice, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you don't have a choice, that's the worst thing, like you want to live forever, so cannot. But at least now, if I can choose when I want to pull the plug to a certain extent, or like reduce the risk of diseases and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, totally
yeah.
agree.
So that's the health thing, lah, I guess. But I don't like exercise, man. Like every time I
Oh,
think about it, it's just such a
becomes a chore.
yeah, such a chore. I feel like so like I think I have to go and do 8 pull-ups. It's like so unpleasant. Fuck. Yeah, then I'll procrastinate. It's like, okay, 7 p.m. I'm gonna exercise. Then I sit in front of the computer like, watch one YouTube video first, like, Google some shit that I fucking was thinking not important one. Delay. 8 o'clock, still haven't start. Okay lah. Then by the time it's really getting too late, need to eat dinner and stuff, right? So fucking then start doing it lah. But it's always this I have to build up my willpower to go and
It's
fucking do it.
something you tend to procrastinate, lah. You yourself
Yes.
know. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. But that being said, I just actually spoke to a private trainer because I think I'm going to get some coaching because my body is too broken right now because of my broken arm and everything. I'm experiencing a lot of difficulty progressing because I'm not sure I'm injuring myself more
Mm.
by trying to compensate with other muscles and stuff. So I need to get some
Oh
guidance to make
yeah,
sure
yeah, yeah,
picking my
yeah.
body up more, because my like torn shit everywhere lah. So when I do push-ups and pull-ups and stuff, it doesn't feel 100% comfortable. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, and we tend to let the body tends to own self react and then like compensate at yeah.
Which will cause you to have long-term bad effects long term, like like you
Mm.
might be walking sengit or using the wrong muscles or
Right.
that kind of thing. You develop into bad stuff later, like
Mm.
based on my research, like so better do things right from the beginning, including doing physio when you get injured.
Mm.
Because when I was younger, I got a lot of injuries and I just powered through it because I was young. I think my body just recovered and take it for granted, right? But now I can really feel the effects of a lot of injuries that I never took care of early on. But also physio costs a lot of money lah. So last time no money, shut the fuck up lah. Just continue lah. Now you've got to protect your body and take care of your body a bit more lah. Not young already lah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it goes a long way, man. Like bringing our attention to like our physical body, and like how to upkeep it. Like you said, like and somehow like I mean, I just met a person who looks 20 years younger than his actual age. You know, and he's in his 50s, and he looks like he's in his 30s. And he does biohacking also and all, but not the very Western style. But yes, he does like a lot of oils. He takes like sacha inchi oil. He does some of the Western approach to buy some electromagnetic stuff and all, but not everything. But he does like Tai Chi and everything. So I was like, wow, okay, so like it does show, we are becoming more and more like exposed to like these concepts, that we previously we thought is just like anti-aging creams and whatever to help with that. But now there seems to be a lot of paradigms and perspectives that we can actually bring our attention to.
I think the main thing is before you even progress to methods of preserving health and maintaining your body, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
EMI or not EMI, electromagnetic stuff or all this other biohacking stuff. Before you
yeah,
even get to that point, the first point that I think you need to think about and acknowledge is that your body is arguably the most important thing that you have, and your health is arguably the most important thing that you have also. So
right,
identifying that and putting it into perspective immediately elevates that to your number one priority,
uh,
and then that immediately multiplies your motivation and willpower to protect it. You get me? So a lot
yeah,
of people take it for granted that they're always going to be healthy, and they don't realize that time is ticking. Every second you're dying, your cells are dying, and you're losing time. So
right,
I think before you even go to the methods of preserving your health and or what exercise to do, what to eat, what biohacking stuff to do, you need to identify that this is a main problem and it's something that you
correct,
want to focus on as a priority.
yeah,
That is the main difference between those who take care of their health and those who don't.
mm,
Like it doesn't matter if you're into the biohacking stuff or the electromagnetic stuff or just organic stuff or just exercise. The first point is that you're doing something to take care of your health, whatever it
yeah,
is
yeah,
positive
yeah,
one. You get me? No? Yeah, but you said like someone that looks 20 years younger. Even my mom, she doesn't look her age. She's almost 70, right? And she's very active. She goes hiking a few times a week. She does a lot of charity work, and she's always on the go. And it really shows. And that she has a lot of energy lah to a certain extent, and she looks a lot younger than she is lah. And that
right,
that is also part of it. And then also then you can tie it back to like mental wellness and a sense of purpose in life and stuff, which
Yeah, you've
other
not
people
just like given into like, yeah, one day as it comes and goes, like, like do nothing, just chill. Yeah.
yeah, deteriorating into nothing lah. Basically,
Mm,
and that is a different topic altogether. But it also it affects your body and your your health lah. Let's put it this way lah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah.
that's why on Journey with the Victors, we are now bringing our attention to some stuff that happen daily, like sleep, exercise, nutrition, and also water, which is why it was very interesting that when you posted something on Facebook about that water thing, what's it called
Snaptech,
again?
called Snaptech.
Yeah, Snaptech. Yeah, can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, so basically, Snaptech is a company I invested in, and you actually know the founder, Neil.
Ah,
Football
Neil.
Neil.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so Neil is actually the founder, and him and his cousin Kevin. So they have been in the water industry, as in water purifier industry, for many years lah.
okay.
And they used to sell this brand called Alkalife, which was alkaline water and stuff like
Ah,
this,
okay.
right? The thing about that, right, is that those units and stuff were very expensive. Alkaline water is very expensive, and it's very inaccessible to the masses,
Okay.
and the water industry in Malaysia is not. The competition is quite low. I wouldn't say low lah, but it basically is not so good for the consumers lah, because the way that is marketed and distributed is usually through a I wouldn't say MLM, but there are layers of salespeople in between the seller and the final end user. You see, so
Okay.
so the consumers actually end up paying for a big fat spread, which goes into commissions for the salespeople.
Right.
So is basically 50% of the cost of your machine goes to salespeople lah, roughly lah.
Right.
Depending
Okay.
on which machine, of course it varies lah. But generally, if for like a medium range one, you could say something along those lines lah.
Mm,
So what the product that the consumer ends up getting is a very subpar product for a very high price,
okay.
right? So the thing is, based on their experience, they know what makes a good water purifier, and how much it actually costs to make one and all that stuff. You see, so he decided that he's going to make the best water purifier he can make for the most fair and reasonable price that he can charge.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we're still not a charity lah, but you get a way better product for the same price. Let's put it this way lah. So he
Okay.
actually spent 2 years developing the machine that we have. It's called the Aura Pro lah, and
Okay.
it is the most modern or smart water purifier right now lah. Water purifier right now. It has IoT. It
Okay.
has water tracking. It has the most updated, the latest filtration system, which is called nano filtration.
All right.
And
Okay.
basically, the summary is, right. Usually, in the past lah, most of the machines use reverse osmosis, which basically splits out all the particles in the water and minerals and everything. So it basically comes out like distilled water, like battery water,
Yeah.
and it's already scientifically proven that your body needs minerals in the
Yeah.
water.
Of course. Of
Like
course.
distilled water is not good for you. You shouldn't be drinking other water. It's
Yeah.
bad for your health. And nanofiltration doesn't filter out uh, to the same amount of microns. Basically, it still retains some of the minerals,
Mm.
the essential minerals for your body. You see, so it's as clean as you need it to be, right? But while retaining the essential minerals. And on top of that, there's also a remineralizer to add back extra minerals which your body needs, like calcium and magnesium and stuff like this, into
Oh.
the water, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, other filters also have it, but it's like optional lah. And it costs more lah, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But ours is already built in, and then it has been the composition has been tailor made for taste and for mineral content lah.
Mm.
So basically, they have looked into every aspect of the water filter and tried to improve it as best as they can lah. And like one of the main benefits of our filter, now I'm sounding like a salesman lah. I'm just telling these are just facts lah. Okay. In, Generally, right now in the Malaysian market, all filters are service based on time. So they'll tell you change your filter in 3 months, change your filter in 6 months. Every half a year will come and clean for you and all this stuff. But
Right.
if you think about it, right, a filter actually is like a car. It should
It
be
depends on usage, right? Yeah.
correct, exactly. So the filter, the medium, right? If you just, like, for example, uh, pour one glass of water,
Yeah.
right, as compared to 1,000 glasses of water, of course the medium, the usage should be different and should be changed at different time. Of course, the one that's filtered 1,000 glasses should be changed earlier than the one that filtered one glass, right?
Right.
So how does it make sense, right? If just say, for example, right, the Victors buy a water filter, right, and there's two of you in your family, okay, and then I buy the same water filter, and I have like 6 people in my family or 7 people in my family, and then they're telling me and you that in 3 months we're coming to change your filter. In three
Yeah.
months time, you might not even have used like 25% of the filter, with two people, whereas in half a month I might have used up my entire filter.
Yeah.
So I'm after, and the filter is not shouldn't be compromised, because after it's exceeded is usage, right? The water won't be clean already. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And in the extreme case, right, the membranes could tear and stuff, and particles could just pass through and stuff if there's too much sediment in the filter and too much dirt. So
Yeah.
it really compromises water quality when you exceed the maximum usage of a filter. And it should be maintained regularly and changed regularly to make sure that the quality of water is optimal.
Hmm.
And that being said, our Malaysian water quality, is not great lah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
actually not bad. It's quite bad lah. If you go and test it out of the pipe and everything lah. Okay, so it's necessary in Malaysia lah, for sure.
Hmm.
To have a water filter. And then what happens when you're changing your, for example, you have two people and you're underutilizing your filter. Every 3 months you're changing your filter. You're paying unnecessary money, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that they have no choice, because there's no way to gauge how much you're actually drinking,
Correct.
right? That's why ours has, like, now it's being patented lah, a tracking technology, right, which is
Right.
built into the machine, right, which actually tracks every single ml that is being dispensed from the machine, and it's passed through the
Right.
filter. Yeah, so
Okay.
we actually can, and then because it's connected to the internet, right? The machines are all like connected back to the home office, and they talk to each other, and they tell how much usage each machine has done.
Hmm.
So even before you realize that it's time to change, the our office will actually, our back end will ping you and say, like, hey, your filter is already 3,000 liters, time to change. And also schedule appointment on your machine and tell you, and you can, everything can be done through the machine. You can pay your bills through the machine. You can schedule appointments through the machine. There's even sensors to help us troubleshoot any errors your machine experiences without even coming to your house. you know
Wow.
yeah. so
Okay.
so like there's minimal interaction required and maximum convenience lah, basically lah.
Is
And
it
these
on
are the
an
things.
app or you have an interface on the machine?
There's an app on your phone, and
Yeah.
there's also interface. So basically, like, the Aura Pro has a tablet built into the machine,
Right. Okay. Okay.
Android tablet. So basically, anything your phone can do, the machine can do. And it's
Right.
all linked up through Wi-Fi or SIM card, right, which is built into the machine to communicate with our home office and our back end. So that you basically don't have to do much lah. So everything's automated, everything is pre-planned, it's very efficient lah.
Right.
That kind
Okay.
of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's like, it's 2021 lah. You don't need some random guy. Every 3 months you forget to call the fella forget to call you. Never come and change the filter. Call him on the phone. That kind of shit. Is not that time is past lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be like a phone bill. Like, or that kind of thing. Automatic. Yeah.
Cool. So if
So these are
anyone's interested in getting Snapback, where do they go?
snaptech.com.my.
All right. Okay. Cool.
snaptech.com.my. You can buy it on Lazada. Just search it on Lazada, or drop me a message, or email them, live chat them. Everything is available. Yeah.
Cool.
But it's something that I believe in, and I don't believe in charging uh paying sales people a lot of money and giving a subpar product lah. So, and I looked at the product, and he has a good vision. Neil has a good vision, and he has the right mindset. So it's something that I would invest in lah, and we shall
Mm.
see how it goes. And then in the future, he's not just going to limit himself to water filters. They aim to innovate and make better home appliances, whatever these air filters, air conditioning units, whatever kettles, microwave, whatever he can think of that he thinks he can improve, he'll work on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the point. It's the point of, like, the point is to improve the quality of life for the average consumer, while charging a fair price, that kind of thing. We shall see. I don't know. Long way off. It's just the beginnings. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chun. 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 So like, uh, are you looking forward to when all this the pandemic stuff is over and you get to resume traveling and playing tournaments?
uh. So indifferent,
Yeah.
kind
It's
of.
not really. It's not the same way anymore. It's not like.
Yeah, not the same way anymore. It'll be nice to not have to worry for your family, because I stay with my mom and my auntie, and they're quite old, right?
Yeah.
So, like having interactions and potentially getting sick, is a risk lah, for them lah. And then, like, to me, by extension also, is scary if I get sick and then I make them get sick and stuff. So you can't really do stuff and go out and that kind of thing
Right.
lah. But
Okay.
it is what it is lah. Yeah. Peace of mind is more important than the whole traveling thing and all that stuff, like, now. And then, like, everybody's suffering, like, it's quite sad to see, people are really struggling, and that's something else also, like.
And okay, so let's talk about that a bit. Like in terms of your own experiences, in terms of your own journey, like You seem to be very steady in terms of mental health. What's your process like? Emotionally and mentally, like how do you cope with like the swings?
uh I think first of all, like for me lah, what I did like
Yeah,
in the early days, there was no life coach, no podcast now, this shit lah. Okay,
yeah,
there's nobody teaching you or telling you how to think or what to do. It's kind of like a self-discovery process. And it's
right.
just for me, it's like what I ask myself like, what do I want in life like? What is my goal like? How what is my perspective on life? And why am I here for to a certain extent? And after my own reflection and thinking and stuff, what's my goal? My goal is to die. Basically, that's what it is to die. We're all gonna die, right? And my goal is to maximize my satisfaction and the happiness of my friends and family and my own happiness throughout that time lah, before I die lah, whenever the time comes lah. So first of all, I'm very accepting of death. I can die anytime.
Okay.
I can die tomorrow. So all the decisions that I make are based on, if I die tomorrow, will I regret? You get
Okay,
me?
so you've come to terms that life's a journey, not a destination, right? You get it.
Yes.
You just want to maximize the best experience for yourself and for your family and the people around you.
Around me lah, whoever my circle of influence lah, or my tribe,
Yeah,
or whatever it is like. Of course, as you get older and you're more resources, your circle of influence becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and can help more and more people lah. But
yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I'm a martyr or saint or anything lah. I'm still going to take care of my friends and family first lah.
Right, right,
Before
right, right.
that's just how it is. And maybe this is how I feel right now. It might change in the future, but it's also very limited to resources, or to a certain extent. This kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but basically, like, is for me, decisions become very clear when I ask myself this question. No, is am I going to regret this decision before I die? No, like that kind of thing. Like,
Okay, okay.
so basically, like your life is a journey, like you said, right?
Yeah,
So at every stop, there's going to be a fork, a choice or whatever it is, and every
yeah.
single choice, and then everything is going to compound on itself and lead to the sum of your life's journey.
Right.
At the day I die, right, I want to be able to ask myself if there's anything that I regret, right?
Okay.
And I want the answer to be no. I don't want it to be 99% no. I don't want it to be 99%. I want it to be 100% no. Full stop.
Oh, you want it to be 100% no. Okay.
Yes, 100% no regrets, because everything is within my control. And
Right.
I want to make the best decision I can make at that point in time, no matter what.
Right.
No. Of course, it might not be the optimal decision or the best decision, but I mean the correct decision, but I want it to be the best that I could have done at that time. You get me?
Yeah. And like the mistakes will be made. And the mistakes are like the learning experiences, and that's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
It is unavoidable to make mistakes, but the point for me is that not to uh, make a bad decision.
Right.
The outcome is irrelevant. No, I just want to make good decisions. You get me?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so I mean, that's the way I look at it, lah, and that's how I frame my thought process, and that makes things very clear to me. Like for example, when I feel lazy to exercise,
yeah.
it's difficult. Then it kind of goes back, like, but you say you want to be healthy, you say you don't get sick, but you
Yeah.
don't exercise. Then what the fuck?
So
You
you
know,
have this internal conflict also that gets you there, lah.
of course, but it's of course very fast at this point because I already developed this over time, right? So it's very easy. It
Yeah.
just intuitively comes to me that I have to do it. Full stop.
Okay.
Everything else is behind already. You get what I mean? All the conflict is there, and it happens so fast and it's so seamless that it doesn't really happen anymore, lah. Because
Mm.
it's just very clear. Once I make a plan, once I decide to do it, I have to do it for all the reasons that I mentioned before. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot easier and a lot faster to come to the conclusion, like, without having to debate yourself every single time. And it's a
Okay.
skill that you can train, I believe. And that kind of things, like a muscle, like the ability to just do what you're supposed to do
Yeah.
at any given time, without having this debate per se, because you already know that it is the optimal decision and optimal thing to do, and accepting that and being able to carry it out. And then in terms of swings and stuff, right? I mean, you're a poker player, this is like the fundamental of the poker player mindset. Like, don't be results oriented, be like process driven. Like, do the work. Believe in the process, and then the outcome is irrelevant, because
Yeah.
in the long run, things should converge lah. But our lives are quite short. Unfortunately, there might not be enough volume, so it might never converge. But just too bad. That's all you can do. To
Yeah.
put in the work, make the best decision, and hope for the best lah. So for me, that as long as I'm not making bad decisions, I don't care what the outcome is lah.
Mm.
The outcome is whatever. You cannot bad beat, you cannot bad beat lah. What you gonna do? No point whining about it. And at this point, it's become so ingrained in me in everything. that I look at everything the same way, Yeah, that
Right.
kind of thing, and everything is like priced in at the moment of decision making. The
Okay.
probability of what happening.
So what I take away or what I gather here is that it's very much thought process and how you intellectualize this decision making process, if you will, and that's how you've been going about it, and you've been training yourself or like putting yourself through this process all the while, and it's been going that direction so much that it becomes seamless lah.
Second nature, like to me, there's no other way. Basically.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So like everything, like all the decisions that I make, kind of like boil down to like EV. Like it's really EV.
Okay.
You get me? Yeah. For example, should I buy a sports car or should I invest in some assets?
Okay.
Of course, you want a sports car, ma. But when
Mm.
you break it down to the EV of your life, it's so clear that you should invest your shit, not buy a sports car. Then suddenly this whole feeling of wanting a sports car is taken away, because you like it just becomes illogical to do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
irrational to do it, and that makes it very easy to control like your desires and your wants and stuff, lah. Because you can basically boil it down to ones and zeros. You can become a robot, and you can make optimal decisions better.
Hmm.
Yeah. That being said, there is a downside also lah. You become a bit robot lah. So
Hmm.
I've become a bit robot also lah to a certain extent lah. And then sometimes it's like for other people who are not so robot they cannot handle it lah. Because like things that are like difficult or uh emotion lah. People
Yeah.
express emotion.
Emotional
People express
side of things,
emotion. Yeah,
humanistic nature in nature
yeah.
and stuff.
In
Yeah.
in general, a lot most people are quite emotional, right? And or if you say like on average scale of emotion, everybody's a 5. I'm like a 1. So sometimes there's like a disconnect, like I cannot see why people are so upset. Or I can see it,
Right.
but I just cannot accept it. No, you get me? No?
Yeah.
Like you drive down the road, some fella bang you, then you're getting pissed and you're getting tilted. But for me, it's like, what the fuck you gonna do? the guy bang you what? You tilted now for what? No reason why. You couldn't like, what could you have done better? Nothing, right? Then okay lah. Gonna bang lah. But people get like emotional and tilted about stuff like that. And like for me, it's like, why you even tilted? I don't understand, like it's, okay. I wouldn't say I don't understand, but I'll be like, just don't be tilted, man. There's nothing you have done, move on.
Right.
But
Right.
some people just cannot get it, you get what I mean? Yeah. Or they just are not used to it, lah, this kind of mindset, lah. That's what I would say, lah. And
Hmm.
sometimes that leads to me becoming a bit too kayu, lah, sometimes like
But okay,
uh,
what about the positive ones? Like, are you embracing of like joy, happiness, excitement, or are you?
yes, of course. That being said, right, a lot of things become less exciting because it's expected for me. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Because that was the part of the plan. Like when I win the tournament,
Yeah.
people wow, you must be happy. I mean, happy lah, but then when you look like nothing only, but because I expected to win what? I, I
Okay.
I play
Okay.
tournaments every day, you know what I mean? I play hundreds of tournaments, like of course I'm eventually gonna win one, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
all pre-computed into the equation, in the beginning, like when I played the tournament, I knew there's a chance I'm gonna win. So when I win, I'm like, yeah, as expected lah. There was a chance I was gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Punch it, and like like this is the trade-off lah, yeah, like so I lost 20 kilos, am I very happy? Not particularly, because isn't this the expected outcome based on the vision that I made in the beginning to go and exercise and everything,
Right. Of course.
so it's like that is the, I don't know, trade-off. I don't know, is it a trade-off? I have no idea, but
The
I feel
side
very
effect.
content.
It's a side effect of like of this intellectualizing like the reason behind what you're doing, following through, I suppose, and then like you already know the predictable outcomes, right? And when those outcomes happen, you know why they have happened, and there's not you're not overwhelmed by the emotions that come along with it.
Correct, because it's all expected. You see, like every decision that you make, right, you have
Yeah,
an expected outcome.
yeah,
So when the expected outcome happens, right, why are you surprised, or why are you, uh, ecstatic, So like you basically, my emotion curve has flattened out to a certain extent,
right.
So the volatility of emotion is very very flat lah. Let's put it this way lah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Right.
good, and I wouldn't. For me, I don't look at it as bad lah. But I don't know. Some people might look at it differently.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say I don't feel happy and stuff. I still do, but it's just less overwhelming, I guess, or
Less
less.
overwhelming it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to a certain extent. I don't know. That's good. I mean, I feel like it's very makes things very peaceful and smooth and clear.
there's a lot more clarity because emotions
Mm.
don't get in the way, I suppose. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Like it's
Yeah.
like a less volatile. Like you're not in a constant state of turmoil. You know, my mind is relatively clear. I know what the plan is. I know what I'm gonna do. You know, easier to make
Yeah.
decisions faster. You know, yeah, that
Mm.
kind of thing. Yeah. One thing is that you know, like meditation, lah, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you meditate or not. I personally don't meditate.
Okay.
Um, but I do in a different form. So I was raised a Catholic, right?
Right.
Not sure if I still am. I think I am lah on paper, and I think I am somewhat, but not full blown
Right. Okay.
Catholic as it was lah. But basically, I've developed a habit of praying lah since I was a child lah.
Okay.
So every night I'll pray. You see, so
Right.
when I pray, right, then I'll go through my prayers and what I'm praying for, blah blah, blah. And then naturally you tend to drift and think about stuff, you know, and like make decisions,
Reflection. Right.
like reflection, you know. So that is basically meditation to a certain extent, you know,
Yes. Indeed.
while you're praying, you know. So that's how I do it also, lah, I guess, and that kind of that helps, you know. I feel like it does help, you know, because you just need time to think and process, you know. And most of the time during the day, you're just going through your daily stuff and doing this from this to that to this to that to this to that, and your phone is in your face, your messages in your face,
Yeah.
emails, this that, people are you know, everybody is shouting for your attention, you know, everything, your apps that you have, you
Right.
know, everything is
Right.
trying to grab your attention, and you don't have time to think, you know. And like being able to segment some time out to think and process is quite important, and for me lah, anyway, and I feel like it helps me lah. And sitting down on the floor meditating for 30 minutes for me doesn't really work lah. I mean, I haven't committed. It's a lot of commitment. Let's put it this way. You
Okay.
know, it's a lot of commitment to sit down and clear your mind, and it's not easy. But for me, because I'm used to praying, right?
Right.
That is what I'm used to, you know, and it's become a habit, you know, and I can't really
Yeah.
sleep before I finish praying and stuff. So that kind of helps allocate time for this reflection kind of, you know, thinking time, and it works for me lah, you know,
That's
that
so
kind of thing, you
interesting
know.
because, like, for me, yes, I to answer your question, yes, I do meditate. I do it like twice a day now. Um, but the thing is, like, when I was younger, right, I was very angry in my teenage years with like the concept of prayer and religion. I was born and raised Catholic too, you know, but so a lot of my formative years of like subconscious processing and everything was very religious based and everything, you know, like do this because you're told to do this. And then when I came to a point in my teenage years when I was like questioning certain aspects of it, it put me off that like certain concepts couldn't be answered, you know, from like some authoritative figures. And it was more like, well, you just take it, lah, you know, you just accept it because it is what it is. And then I started questioning more, going into religion and whatever and philosophy. But yes, I get what you mean because like now that I'm practicing meditation and it well when I do the focus, there are a couple of types of meditation that I do. When I do the focus one, like where pretty much bring I used to suffer from ADD, you know, like attention deficit disorder, right? So I know what it's like to have my fucking like mind all over the place from one thing to another. And when I actually start implementing the focus meditation, right, then I'm very I get in between that autopilot mode of thinking. So like the autopilot mode of thinking is what is bringing you to your emotional state, your being, your thoughts, your irrational fears, your you know all this stuff. And I give myself the chance to recognize it and consciously bring my attention span to where I want it. And yeah, and that's been amazing lah for me, you know, in my own practice and everything. So that quiet
Yeah,
time, that prayer time, yeah.
that's I think the autopilot thing is exactly what I was thinking also. Like, you know, you're just going through the motions, you know, and you're in the moment, and you're not how to say, going, you're just autopilot lah, basically lah. You know,
Yeah,
instead you sometimes you need to, you know, zoom out and think about yourself from a different perspective, or like, you know, third person or whatever it is, to
exactly.
get better
Yes.
clarity, you know, you get what I mean.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you know, I guess if the more used to it you get, the easier it is, you know, and the faster you can do it, and the more you think in that in that manner lah, you know, to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
And sometimes it's just so mind blowing when you like zoom out. Like previously, I was like so fearful of stuff, and I just realized. And when I started zooming out, I'm like, oh my goodness, how did it end up this way? You know, you get what I mean? Like stuff
Yeah.
that is like really innate in you. Like you just know that you know there's certain characteristics you have that are so innate, but like you have allowed your autopilot and your fears to bring you like in a direction that you wouldn't want yourself to be going. And only when you zoom out do you realize that you know Because if you stay zoomed in all the time, then you're never giving yourself that clarity or any of that space to take a step back and grow. And that has been such an incredible moment for me, when I actually first. That's why I have been practicing it every day since. Yeah.
But how that's really good. But how was it when you first started meditating? Was it very difficult or not?
Okay,
To
so what's interesting is when I first started meditating, I immediately, because I was very observant, at that point I was very observant of everything that was going on. I just consciously try to be observant. And I was doing a lot of research about subconscious mind, conscious mind, and how I was even diving into like some neuroscience research, and how like our nervous system and our thinking process, the reptilian brain, which is now what they're saying is that forms the autopilot state of operation and everything, because it's just controlled by that, and how all this is interrelated with or also other experiences like our senses and our breath and our awareness of senses and breath. And so I started doing stuff. I started like my morning routine consisted of like when I wake up, I don't allow like my mind to go 160 km ph, thinking about fear, money, all that shit, like pandemic. No, I actually try and recall my dream. So like the first thing I do is I try to get in between that. When I try to get in between that, so like okay, now I'm consciously trying to remember my dream. And at first I didn't realize it. I thought like, oh, I don't fucking dream every day. I just thought that was. Then I realized, oh, we do dream, but we like forget our dream within the first 5 minutes or something like that. We because we immediately go into our autopilot mode, so we forget. And if you consciously try and remember, then like, oh, you start by remembering like one or two significant scenes. But after like doing that every day, like remember more, remember more, remember more, it unfolds itself. So then I started doing breath work, like Wim Hof. Wim Hof has been like the most amazing breath work that I have tried doing, because within the second or third sets, you actually feel the physiological difference, the oxidation.
yeah, to be honest with you, I did for 1 or 2 weeks or so. Aaron recommended that, right?
Right.
And you do feel it. I 100% agree. But I, to be honest, so I forgot what the term is called. There's basically you're supposedly restricting your
Hyperventilation.
hyperventilating basically. So
Yeah.
you're kind of like delaying your reflex to breathe, to a certain extent.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm not sure whether there is any actual physiological change in your blood. I mean, he says there is
Hmm.
but I have never researched it. Or I have never seen the size that shows that you have a high concentration of oxygen in your blood after you do the Wim Hof breathing method, I don't know if you have researched it, but that's basically what he's saying, right?
I have, and there's quite a lot now coming out,
So
lately.
it's true that the blood, your oxygen level in your blood will increase after you do the breathing exercise.
Yes, because he presents it in a way, right? Like check this out: do the maximum number of push-ups you possibly can, right?
Okay.
Do,
Yeah.
and when
Yeah.
you do like your fourth set of Wim Hof, you should be able
Yeah.
to double that. Like how
Okay,
is
I
that
need to
even
go and experiment. This is quite sick. But I did it for like a week or 2 weeks every
right?
day. And I did feel the physiological effects. You're fucking tingly and you're buzzing and everything
Yeah,
vibrating. And I could literally hold my breath for more than 3 minutes or 3 minutes plus.
right.
And compared to without it, you can hold it for like 1 minute or 1 minute plus or something like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah,
But that could be just a delayed breathing reflex based on hyperventilating. I'm not sure. This is just speculation. I never researched enough, but
yeah.
it could be explained in that way. So I'm not sure whether, like you're saying that if I could double my push-up amount after
Yeah.
doing the breathing exercise, that is very compelling. You know what I
It's
mean?
compelling
But
because
yeah, yeah,
the research he's saying, right, is like your protein synthesis changes, or your lactic acid, in your body
yeah.
changes.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
I'm very skeptical about these kind of claims without science proving it. But I know that he has proven it. Like he could literally kill like pathogens in his body and stuff, monitored by
Yeah, yeah,
scientists and
yeah.
shit. And he can
But
literally stand in the ice for 2 hours and walk up to Everest without a fucking shirt, in short pants and
yeah,
shoes. So he has done all these things But I'm not. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take his word for it. Let's put it this way, until it's proven
okay,
that
right,
it works.
fine. So what
Yeah.
Wim Hof breathing technique has done for me
Mm.
is I have now trained myself to be able to focus on my breath, because when I do the 30 reps of breathing and whatever, I have to
Mm.
be aware of diaphragmatic chest and like oxidation, right? So that now
Mm.
bridges my sensory perception of breath, right?
Yep.
And also when you feel the tingling and everything, you get to a space, to a little place of stillness, right? stillness, calm. And so that has helped me develop or get into like a different brainwave state, I would say, like beta and alpha. Like I all I have to do is like 2-3 sets of Wim Hof, and I feel like I'm automatically in the alpha state of mind rather than the beta one. And I can just start with my meditation and I can focus on breath real easily. Like it's not gonna be like start thinking about what's happening later, what happened yesterday, that kind of thing. So like that's how much impact the Wim Hof breathing technique had on my meditation.
Yeah, that is basically conditioning lah. Like you're developing some kind of habit or a routine lah, which is very good lah. And this is how you kick start off and you get into that frame of mind. And
Yeah,
and I think that is how to say. There are many ways to achieve that lah. And this way works the best for you, and you're really seeing results. And
yeah,
it could be different for anybody, Because what I was gonna say is that one thing that you must realize that you have, or to a certain extent you have made a conscious decision to make this a priority, is that you have time and you have allocated time towards this, because it really takes a lot of time now. Okay, if you do the stretching plus the breathing, it takes fucking 40-45 minutes lah.
yeah,
And I was doing it for a week, and the thing is, normal people, right, who have a 9 to 5 or constantly on the go, it's very difficult to commit this time and to have the discipline to maintain that routine, because you have to wake up earlier, and you have to sacrifice
yep,
the life kind of gets in the way, if you have a lot of time commitments and stuff. And the thing is, you need to really make it a priority and allocate the time, and this requires sacrifice, because what does it mean?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're working the whole day, you're gonna have less time to watch your TV series. You're gonna have to have less time to spend your family. You're gonna have less time to spend your friends. All these things are all the sacrifices that you have to make this happen. And that is what the difficult part about having a meditating or Wim Hof routine is. And even exercising to a certain extent, because time has to come from somewhere. And if you haven't made this a priority, and you haven't allocated the time by sacrificing the time you spend on other things, right, it's difficult to make it happen. You know what I mean?
yeah. But here's my reasoning, right? What if you allocated this 45 minutes a day, right? Just 45 minutes a day at the start of your day. And the side effect is you are less reactive at work, you are less reactive and more alert and have more clarity throughout your day, you know. And the side effect of having that clarity and being less reactive in a negative way, of course, is that you are more efficient, more productive, and more creative. Because sometimes, when we tend to block out, like when we have all this pollution or like whatnot, because of that clarity you get more creative, and you actually the suggestion here is that you actually see things from a different point of view, and you are able to perform better in like all these aspects, like whether it's social work or whatever, and that's just
Yeah,
more value in your day to day.
I 100% agree. And it sounds great on paper, but in
Right,
practice, it's damn difficult to allocate that 45 minutes. You know why not? Because usually, just say like you go to work at like 9 o'clock, okay? And normally you have to wake up at around 8 o'clock to get ready and go, okay?
right,
Oh, you gotta wake up at fucking 7 o'clock or 7:15, and your sleep goes down, and it's that okay. Now we're leading towards the sleep routine, or sleep quality
correct,
part, right?
correct,
My sleep habits are trash. They're absolute fucking trash. I
right,
have the worst sleep habits and the worst sleep habits ever. So
correct.
if you're a very disciplined person, or you're a very early morning guy, and you always wake up earlier, then it's fine. No? But for a lot of people who are scrambling to get to work and prep for their work day, they have kids and stuff. To wake up 45 minutes earlier is not easy. On paper, yes, we all want to allocate 45 minutes. I would want to allocate 2 hours of my day to my wellness. But
Yeah,
in practice, it's fucking hard. No, because I cannot wake up and I want to sleep also. You know what I mean? Yeah.
that will boil down to a little bit of subconscious reprogramming, and also what you do at night lah. Like, dude, like me and Lynn have been waking up at 5 a.m. average, or 6, okay lah, 5:30 average lah, because there was one period of time when we didn't wake up at 5 during the pandemic. We woke up at 6 something, but there was a period of time
Oh,
when
fucking late, 6 something.
hey, but there was one period of time when I was
Oh,
crazy. You know what? How crazy I was? I was still so attached to the concept of like playing poker for a living, or whatever it is, right? So I would wake up at 2 a.m. and that so happened, right? At that time, there were games that were running till up about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So I would, like, no, I'm not going to sacrifice this waking up thing. I love it. It's done so much impact in my life. I woke up at 2 a.m. and went for games, like that's how insane it was. And it just goes back to showing that actually that's how, right, all this while, right, I know that there was resistance. I know that this thing that I want to execute in my life was far more important than like the choice of work I was doing. You get what I mean? It was
Yeah, of course.
already it was already showing up in all these ways, you know. It's just that, and I wasn't willing to make that trade. I wasn't willing to like, nah, you know, I'll just degen sleep at 5 a.m. instead, you know, and like get the best hours of the experience. But yeah, so for me, I guess it's got to do with a bit of sacrifice of the nighttime thing, because like honestly, we haven't been able to have a nightlife at all. Like the past, you know, since I started losing weight, like when I started losing weight, that was about the same time I started waking at 5. And I have the given myself the opportunity to allocate that morning routine there, you know, because I'm used to that. But before that, dude, you know like how it's like, right? Like sleeping at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. is like standard in if you play poker, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, lor.
Yeah, that's why like it really comes down to discipline and priority. Like you said, you made it a priority for you to maintain this healthy lifestyle, and
Hmm.
you're willing to sacrifice your nightlife and everything to make this the focus.
Yeah.
But people like me who have trash discipline when it comes to sleep, right? Who like blue light maximum, screen time maximum before bed, all this fucking bad shit, sleeping at 6 a.m. I'm how to say I plan to address it in the future, but it's just difficult right now. Like for me, like I find I lack the willpower slash the discipline to make it happen. Because my lifestyle is so erratic, and I just like nighttime. I don't know.
Oh,
I just love nighttime.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. I get
So
that. Yeah.
it's just I don't play poker. I'm always up till 6 o'clock in the morning one. No matter what,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
always constantly. No matter where I go, no matter I come back jet lag or no jet lag, it always reverts back to nighttime one for me. Always.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Because
okay.
my sleep discipline is so trash. Because I stay up fucking long and I sleep for damn fucking long after that. So it keeps cycling. Yeah. So
Oh,
I can
okay.
sleep like 14 hours per day easy, 12 hours per day easy, no problem.
But it doesn't
So
start orbiting, right? I know some friends like that, but
it starts
it
orbiting
starts
sometimes.
orbiting.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
sometimes you got things to do, you got meeting at 2 o'clock, you have to do this kind of call, suddenly you have to wake up
right.
early, or suddenly you stay up longer, that kind of so it kind of orbits But for me, I know and I acknowledge that it's my fucking problem, it's because I got shit discipline when it comes to sleep, and it's 100% that. And if you can, the thing is, if you can do it like how you're saying, you can allocate the time and follow the schedule, of course, by all means, you should 100% do it. But work in progress, let's put it this way. Slow progress, yeah. First step is acknowledgement and admitting it.
Aiyo.
Yeah. Like I mean, you're supposed to not use your phone for 1 hour before you sleep, lah. Turn off all the blue light in your room, no. Stop using screens and all that shit. But I
Or
don't know,
like
man.
that's like
I
really, yeah, they're doing it lah. Like those guys, like they're really doing like, and even exposure to red light instead,
mm,
like in the mornings and stuff. It's quite intense lah. But for me, it's like
yeah,
when I wake up, I don't look at my phone because it gets in the way of like me getting in between the autopilot and like if I first thing look at phone, I tend to realize, oh shit, the autopilot can just immediately step in. So I stay
correct,
away
correct.
from
I mean,
phone.
if there's nothing pressing that needs your attention, then of course you have that you're structured that way, lah. So it works well for you, lah. And like waking up
Yeah,
early is a good thing because then you really know that whatever happens, you have this clean block of time that is yours to do as you wish, that kind of thing.
right.
And once again, it's just a habit, like developing good habits, lah. Work in
Mm.
progress for me, lah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Some
but
interesting neurobics. I did also some binaurals, like activating parts of like your brain that haven't been activated, stuff like that. Like I went in all sorts of testing new stuff, and it was interesting to see how that changed. Like even how quickly I was grasping concepts. Like
what does binaural mean?
binaural is when you have two different frequencies playing into two ears, and then your brain makes up the difference. Yeah,
What
in
does
in the sense of vibration. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand kind of basically like it's missing a bunch of frequencies, so your brain makes up the in between frequencies that are
Yeah,
missing from
correct.
the process.
Exactly.
But what
Yeah.
does that achieve, or what is that meant to do?
Um, well, if you subscribe to the idea that we are also energetic beings in the sense that we consist of energy levels and whatever, and vibration, your brain vibrational signals to like parts of like let's say your um, at a molecular level, at your cell level, like uh, subconscious reprogramming, or like like a communication with the rest of the parts of your body. It is supposedly able to activate a sense of well, getting to know each other first, getting to know that they are connected, and then also like um, sending new information for healing purposes and stuff like that lah. Like
Is it
this
like
is all,
bioresonance kind of stuff?
yeah, but this is all in my exploration stages, and I don't think I can articulate it in theory as well as like implementation and observation of it is something that I'm doing, but articulating like the process is not something that I think I can
Is it
help.
is it like something like basically all molecules are constantly vibrating at a certain frequency at the molecular level? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Right. So now you're trying to sync up the single frequency of vibrations between your brain and your body and your different organs and stuff. Something
right.
along those
And
lines.
that's also linked to our emotional health and the emotional vibration of being, um if we see emotions now as also a vibrational frequency, like,
Mm.
right? Then how to sync that up.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, to be honest with you, to be frank, all this is really going into woohoo territory for me, lah.
Woo-woo territory, right?
Yeah. So like all
Yeah,
this,
exactly,
you
exactly.
you
But
you would call it pseudoscience, lah. Like is it maybe not enough research, not backed by any experiments, or the experiments are not credible. I don't fucking know, lah. But this is already above my head, lah. Let's put it this way, lah. For
right.
me, this part, I'm not saying it's not true. I don't know anything. Let's put it this way. So
Okay.
I'm not what you call it? How do you say not to say confident. I do not deserve. I cannot comment on it, lah. I mean, I wouldn't know, lah. But to me, is I heard of this kind of concepts before, and
Right.
I'm a bit skeptical, lah. Let's put it this way, lah. About stuff like this, lah. Until
Skeptical
it is
lah.
proven,
Yeah, that's totally
to
fine.
me, lah. Yeah,
Your skepticism is coming from a very valid place. But here's my question then. Here's my
Mm,
discussion.
mm.
So could it be that it's placebo?
Yeah, it's possible. I don't fucking know. Yeah.
Then what about like prayer time, and all those aspects like of spirituality or spiritual practices?
100% could be fake or not real. It's just that it is what makes me comfortable, and that's what I accept. You get me? I don't even know.
Okay.
So it's so woohoo, and I'm not saying that God is the truth, the way, and the light. I don't even fucking know. Does God exist? I don't fucking know, bro. But it makes me feel comfortable to think that He is, and I feel like based on my life and the way I've done things, and it feels like they. I mean, this now we're talking about belief in God and whether there's a God and atheism and all that shit, like. I don't know whether it's Jesus or God or Allah or what, but I feel based on what I feel, right,
Yeah.
which is not tangible, right, because it's completely chemicals in my brain or what the fuck it is, right.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a universal presence or a God kind of being, lah. And
Okay.
it comforts me to think so, lah.
So
And
it's interesting. It's so interesting how you know that you're not even gonna go there, bothering to intellectualize it from that level, but you keep on saying that you feel,
Yes, it's 100% bullshit, but it's what makes me feel good. You understand?
Exactly. So the emotional aspect of this is where the quadrants come in, right? And like the emotional aspect is something that we have not been studying from a very scientific. I mean, we do study emotions as in how we react to it and why, what is, and psychology and all, but the neurochemistry of emotions, I would say, or the what exactly emotions are when we break it down. Now, is it something?
Sorry, Justin, you cut off for a second. Can you just go back like 30 seconds?
Right. So the emotions aspect of it, like that is what has really caught my attention, because this is where now woo shit and science are trying to find a bridge. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is, when you argue about like molecular vibrations and stuff, these are all physics already, It really is going to scientific territory, When you start talking about God and shit, which can't be falsified or proven, right? Then you're in who territory, You get me?
Yes.
So
Clear.
so it's totally different. So now you're talking about bioresonance and frequencies and some kind of physical effect in the real world,
Yes.
What I'm talking about is completely abstract, It might not even exist, I don't even fucking know, Where do we go when we die? Who fucking knows?
Okay.
I don't know.
So
like for example, okay, I give you an example. So
Okay.
when I pray, sometimes I will, pray for my dad and blah blah blah, and like, like talk to him.
Right.
Can he fucking hear me? I have no fucking clue. But he comforts me to talk to him, or whatever it is, And that's what I care about, Like, I understand that it might not be true, or might be true, or that doesn't matter to me,
Right.
because I'm just trying to find peace for myself.
Right.
And same like happiness, happiness is just a feeling in your mind, you, you get what I
So
mean? Or not?
what's interesting about the integral model
Yeah.
is that it sort of like sums it up that like this thing that we're having is like green talking to orange, right?
Okay.
So
What does that mean?
it's got to do with how you have interpreted your experiences, your cumulative experiences, right? And your programming in the way you see those things, and how you um, have structured your interpretations, and how I am probably more on the other side of the quadrant where I acknowledge the emotion, but here is where like that subscription of like the way you perceive it and the way you interpret it tends to cancel out the other side, or not cancel out, it's just it cannot, or we're not there yet to like tangibly explain it from that point of view, you know. That's the thing,
Hmm.
that's what's interesting. And like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes, we don't have the expertise or the knowledge to physically manifest this and prove it to to make it the truth
measure
lah,
it
to
lah, yeah.
measure it lah. Yeah, yeah, correct. And then I mean a good example is feng shui, right? I got friends who really believe in it, and I don't fucking believe in it. You know what I mean? But the emotion or the vibes that they reflect onto you also could affect you also. You know what I mean?
But
If
that's
they
the
if they
thing,
feel
like whatever
yeah,
discipline, whatever paradigm, right? Like
hmm,
feng shui, right? I think the fundamental of it is basically down to flow, right? Flow, or I don't know, magnetism or like energy, whatever. But that's the thing. Now it can also be taken to extremes by the extremists and say, like, oh, like every fucking cross junction's bad for you, or like this place, yeah, it can, or like if you put this like thing in your house, like your life's going to be just elevated like 100%, like, or your financial health is going to be so, like, in all of these little paradigms that exist also, um things can be misinterpreted, I think, or blown out of proportion to like exploit, you know just the thing.
sure, sure. But the bottom line is right. I wouldn't judge my friends or say that you're stupid for believing in it. In the end,
Right.
it's his right and his that's his prerogative lah. I would say if it makes you feel comfortable and happy, by all means go ahead. As long as you're not harming other people and doing bad things to people, you be my
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
So the new tagline is right. You happy can already, bro. Everything is you
Happy
happy
can
can already.
already, right?
You happy
Okay.
can already. That is my tagline lah. At this point lah. So like stuff like this. So just because you don't think this way doesn't mean that other people cannot think this way or shouldn't think this way.
Right.
To a certain extent. So everybody got their own perspective and their own view. And it's same thing like your character lah. Like you like I see things in terms of EV. Some people might not. Some people are emotional beings and they're happy being emotional beings and they accept it for what it is and they understand that there are pros and cons for being this way and
Yeah.
then it's okay. The only issue I have is when you are how to say uh contradicting yourself, and
Right.
you're not
And enforcing your point of view on others, right?
yeah, that also, and like you're not being honest lah, that kind of makes it difficult to communicate lah. Let's put it this way, like,
Yeah, I totally get you, and that's one of the things that that's why, people and perspectives, man. That's why like I'm doing this, and the range or the spectrum of like people and perspectives is gonna be so, I hope, interesting. We'll see by
yeah,
the
I
response.
don't know lah. I kind of reduce the amount of time spending.
I think you got
Can
cut
already,
off
lah,
there.
bro. No need to think so much. Sorry, I was just saying that I kind of try and reduce a bit of the time I spend thinking too much on this kind of stuff because it's a rabbit hole that keeps going on, right?
Right.
So, so I just kind of like comes down to you happy canary, bro. Every do your thing,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course. Of course. Of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I personally know I've been like in the rabbit hole for a while, and then like, oh, okay, it's time to like turn that shit into like whatever you want to like practice in
Yeah.
your
your
Right.
daily life and like kind of cut it short a little bit, like, you know, you can think
Yeah.
about it again later, you know. And then one thing that I realized so for myself, like,
Connection's a bit bad. One sec.
hey, you're stuck, bro. Hello?
Yeah, yeah. Internet connection, is it?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I was saying that despite being a robot, I actually
Uh,
feel things quite intensely, one. And I know, like, for example, like when I hear music or stuff, I have a very strong emotional connection to stuff like this one.
uh.
And the feeling, it brings me, So that is, I feel that's quite funny also, lah. Because decision wise or like, stuff, I'm quite objective rational, but it's stuff like feeling things does affect me also, lah. Like, I can feel quite a lot of emotion when it comes to songs and music and art and all that kind of shit. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
That's not very robotic of you, man.
Correct, but then I behave like a robot, no, you get me, so
Yeah.
but I do
Yeah.
feel a
Yeah.
lot, you get me, yeah. So I think there's a difference, and the separation between making good decisions and feeling, it's okay to feel, you still got to make the right decision after. Like Jungle Man said it, just because I'm mad doesn't mean I make a bad decision, no. I can still be mad and make a good decision, but
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be mad, you get me, I can be tilted and still play well, and that's where the difference is between a really good player and just the average Joe who's just
That's actually quite sicko, dude. Like you have selective emotional application. It's like somehow you have selected to separate emotion from thought process, but you appreciate the arts, the stuff that's more humanistic at a very emotional level, and that's incredible. Yeah.
I don't know why it just turns out that way. Like, I don't know. I like when I listen to music, right? I can feel it in my bones. I don't know. Like, it's just I have such a strong connection to stuff like this. But then
Yeah.
when it comes to like looking at things in terms of EV, it's also very clear to me that this is how it should be thought about when you make decisions, about life and stuff.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
but when you make, maybe it's just because when you choosing what music to listen to, right? There is no consequence or cost, economic cost per se. It's all the same, and it's what makes you feel good and what you like, right? But and especially when it comes to appreciating art, also same thing. Everybody in matters of taste, there are no disputes. There's no right or wrong one. Anybody could be right.
Yeah.
So the consequence of getting it wrong, there's none basically.
Yeah.
Whereas compared to like financial decisions or like poker decisions, there's always a consequence, and most of the time there's a right and wrong. So then it's very important to make the right choice. You see. So maybe that's
Right.
why it's okay to be emotional when it comes to stuff like
Yeah.
you know safety or your success in life or what you want to call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. That could be why.
Thanks for your sharing, dude. Like that has been such a incredible one. Like I didn't even realize it's been an hour and a half way.
It got cut off.
Yeah.
It seems like mine is mental. I don't know. Just keeps pausing. No idea.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that when you talk cock, time flies lah. So yeah. Do you follow Naval and stuff like this? I'm sure you've heard of him if you
who?
follow these
Sorry.
kind of guys. Naval Ravikant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Naval. And his stuff. Quite eye opening. For
Yeah.
me.
There's so many, man, now. Like especially like last year and this year. Like, oh wow, the amount of perspectives out there, the amount of people coming up, and it's been so eye opening. Broadening our consciousness, our minds to like all these concepts, and that's what brought about like people and perspectives. Like sometimes we are so busy with our day to day, focusing on like, oh shit, man, businesses are affected. Like how we're gonna go about this and all that. Hopefully that if we can just pause, take some time out, zoom out, like you said, like and just look at how we are handling certain stuff in regards to those aspects in our lives, and you know, get some mental clarity. I think that would be amazing for everyone.
Mm. I
Yeah.
think another thing that people should think about or like at least start to learn about is like financial literacy and financial management because a lot of stress in people's lives comes from mismanaged finances and making poor financial decisions. So there's something that just based on my observations is lacking in a lot of people's lives lah. Yeah, because everybody's busy grinding away, right? They don't really think about the macro view per se. So yeah, there's something that maybe should be put a bit more time into lah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The attention span
If
on
you're,
like,
yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, the attention span on, like, let's say addressing the financial situation of things, like from what angle would you say that though, like in terms of earning capacity, or like is everyone already trying their best to do that, or is it more from like management, or like you said, like people tend to like be more adherent to a certain lifestyle, when they reach a certain level, and then that becomes the norm, and then like going downsizing can be an issue, or like is it in regards to that, or is it in regards to like investing being the more plus EV decision than buying the sports car? Like which angle would you recommend like a person to start looking into first, like from your point of view?
I think the first thing is you need to set some kind of financial goals. Like what is your financial goal in life? What do you want to become a billionaire? Do you want to become a millionaire? What kind of lifestyle do you want to lead?
Right.
And what is the purpose of earning this money? Like what is your true motivation for working so hard every day? Like that kind of
Right.
thing. I think that's the first thing you need to determine. So that you have a clear path on the road that you're going to go down, and in which direction you're going into. Then after that, you can break it down to how much money do you actually need to earn. Maybe if you realize that actually I don't need to earn so much money, maybe I'll be very happy living a certain kind of lifestyle, and I can find ways to achieve this level of income, or wealth, in a more efficient way per se.
Hmm.
And then it actually comes down to the execution of this plan of meeting this goal lah. How are you going to hit this target. And one thing that you might realize, or what I realize, is definitely, if you're earning a low level of income, you're definitely not going to get rich by saving lah. Let's put it
Hmm.
this way lah. Or you're not going to hit certain targets by just saving. You're going to need to think about how you're going to multiply income and stuff. And then of course, the method of making the income is another thing. If you're suffering every day, and you're you feel like work sucks lah. I'm just like struggling to get by, and I'm so unhappy. Then you kind of need to step back and think about it again. Is it worth it? And is there any other options or any other way to do better? In terms of different job that can have the same effects financially and that kind of stuff. And of course, like the financial literacy is important to have views uh, of the macroeconomy, and what might potentially happen to be more efficient, so that you don't get caught by the change in the industry, or in the financial world. So that you're not left behind to a certain extent. So like example is right now that there seems to be, based on people's view and stuff and economic indicators, this is not financial advice. This is just a view.
Yeah, of
That
course.
that we are heading towards a path of high inflation or hyperinflation due to increased stimulus, etc., etc. So, like, understanding what does that even mean, and how do you need to position yourself to potentially benefit or to mitigate your risk, uh, in terms of hedging your assets into different asset classes, such as non-fiat assets.
Hmm.
Yeah, I lost you for a
Yeah,
second.
it was you got cut off at non-fiat assets. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
non-fiat assets?
non-fiat assets. So fiat assets are basically, if I'm not mistaken, non-backed currency lah, or like printed money lah, basically, because it's not
Yeah,
backed by anything. They
yeah.
used to be gold standard, no more gold standard. Now you can print as much as you want, and hedging against this, against inflation, by converting your fiat assets into, like, other hard assets, or whatever you want to call it, like cryptocurrency or land, or stocks or businesses, or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And being able to understand, I mean, basically economics lah.
Hmm.
Economics and finance lah. And as an adult, I understand that you might not use it in your day-to-day life of your job, but I think, in my opinion, it's important to understand how the world we live in works, and economics is a big part of it. And
Hmm.
even, like, understanding a bit of it, or the basics of it, could take you a long way, in developing your view, and seeing the connections between things, and making better decisions overall, in terms of your financial health. Yeah, that kind of thing. And like, it sounds very intense, or daunting, or what's the word of it, when
Sounds
it's,
very technical, and like if someone is like not intimate with it, might shy away from it because it sounds
yeah,
like
very technical, it's very, sounds very scary, like very heavy,
yeah,
but actually, every day you just spend a bit of time, watch a YouTube video. Nowadays YouTube is so good, everything
yeah.
is simplified, explained. You watch it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like, and educate yourself a bit in this aspect, like, it's just like, to me, based on my observation and opinion, it seems that a lot of people neglect this part of
This
education.
aspect, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that is
Like I can
neglected
I can
nowadays, because,
definitely relate to that. Like For a very long period of my time, I only saw one way of doing things in regards to like financial health. And when well, one way and point five, 1.5 ways, I would say. And I never opened up my mind to like the other aspects, which is so negligent, and only when I was on the road to like self-awareness and discovery of all these aspects, then only I realized, holy shit, there's like so much that we can actually expand our knowledge to, and it's very true, and it's not even like super complex. We only tend to judge it to be super complex because of how we have related to it all this while. Like, I don't know, like one of our people and perspectives was Ume, and he basically gave a very simplified explanation as to what blockchain is and what cryptocurrency is, and then the next one he's gonna go into like DeFi and NFTs, because that's like now what's hot, and yeah, and then only like prior to that, like I only saw currency from a very fiat based.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, all you know is that it's money. Money can buy things. What is money? How does money work? Where
right,
did it come from? Like
right,
the
eh,
things that actually you should understand. Like we're translating money every single day.
yeah,
It's a part of our lives. But we don't know what the fuck it is. That kind of thing. And actually, it's funny you mentioned Umay, because actually I invested in Umay's former company also.
bit or
Yes.
uh
So yeah, it's quite funny.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, Umay. I mean, any proponent of blockchain technology or cryptocurrency would have a way than above average understanding of these kind of things, lah, because it's basically the main use case, or the main argument for why we need a cryptocurrency, or non-fiat based assets,
Yeah,
or store of value, per se. So yeah, these are things that it is quite complex, lah. It's a bit heavy, but it's not as difficult as into educating yourself.
yeah, it's not as scary as we tend to build it up in our head to be. If you are very very, like, let's say you don't come from a finance background whatsoever, you don't come from a banking background, you might actually tend to think, man, this is not for me, I just want to simplify my approach to money. I earn how much, I spend how much, like that. But when you actually start opening up and looking into it, and there's so much simplified data, there's so much simplified concepts out there, like you might be
Mm.
surprised how fast you quickly grasp and like navigate in this area. Yeah,
Yep, for sure. Yeah. I mean, because you were mentioning earlier about a holistic approach to life, right? Like mental
yeah,
wellness, health, uh, education, work-life balance,
finances, everything.
finances. So everything is included, lah. So I mean, no one is gonna look out for you, lah. Let's put it this way, like you gotta kind of educate yourself and have your own opinion, lah, to most
Right.
things, lah. Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much along those lines. Yeah,
Okay. Let's just wrap this up, and then we continue chatting for a bit. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
So thanks, Mike. Thank you so much for your sharing. Thank you so much for your time.
My
All right.
pleasure.
All right. And guys, thank you so much for watching People in Perspective with Mike Soyza. Take care, guys.